that's my big point. It's all about us trying to get through the next few weeks, the next few months together and just kind of keep everything calm. So in terms of little reminders, reminder is that forgetting stuff is normal, okay? If you think it's not going into my head, Mr. Hill, why isn't it going into your head? It's because we need to forget it to remember it better. Every time you forget something, what happens is when you go back to revisit it, you remember a little bit better. When you turn 17, some of you later this year, some of you next year, and you get interested by wanting to learn how to drive, because it's a brand new skill, you just forget everything after the first time you get into a car. The next time it's a bit easier than the one before it, and the next time and so on, and you just are repeating it, spaced out, and you get better and better and better. So please do not worry if you're sat there thinking, Mr. Hill, it's not going in. Last year I used to mentor a young lady called Phoebe. Many of you might know her. She's quite loud. And that was the thing that she would always say to me. It ain't going in, Mr. Hill. It just won't go up my head. I would say, it's okay, Phoebe. What will happen is you just need to keep going back and going back and going back and don't give up, okay? Because what will happen is you will eventually get to a point over time where you're much more comfortable in terms of everything starting to sink in because it goes into your long-term memory. Now, revision. One of the things I'd like you to focus on, rather than giving you too much bits of information, is, you've seen these before, making stuff obvious. Setting aside some time to do it, okay? So habits are really important. My habits were always, I did lots of revision at the weekends, especially on Sunday, because I had nothing else better to do. What you might want to do between now and the 7th of March is try and build in, again like we did in November, 15 minutes a night just to get yourself built up. That's just a case of just sitting down with your revision books for 15 minutes and doing it for the first time. And then the next time maybe increasing it to 20. Trying to get up to 30 minutes. 30 minutes is the optimum time for a teenager like yourself to revise for a block. You have around about double your age in minutes in terms of an attention span. So 15-year-olds in here, you've got about a 30-minute attention span, 16-year-olds about 32. So what we do is do 30-minute blocks of revision, and then we kind of chill out, we do something else, go on TikTok or whatever else you young people do, and then come back to the revision afterwards and do another 30-minute block. Little blocks, okay? Try and make it attractive, as I said before. Try and rope in your parents to help to kind of entice you to do things. Have a reward at the end of it, whether that be a coffee, whether that be a trip to McDonald's, whether that be playing your PlayStation, whatever else you do, okay? I don't know how teenagers work at home. I've got a 6 and a 3-year-old. I'm sure I'll get there in this eventually. Try and make it easy, and the way you're going to do it and make it easy, I think now at this stage, is trying to chunk your revision into revision cards, but specific revision cards. What that means is that on your revision cards, as you'll see in a second, having questions on the reverse of them. I've ordered quite a lot of revision cards and they're in my office. If you would like a pack of revision cards, come and see me. There's about 150 revision cards in these little packs, all different colours. Come and collect some from it. Lots of people like to do that because it makes you feel like you're doing something. That's great, because that's the first step I want to encourage from you, just getting it going. The next step is then to be clever with your revision, and on these revision cards, not just writing out stuff from your book, actually asking questions, actually putting the topics on there. So what that means is the revision list for the mocks I've shared for you, like for example in science where you've got group 7 elements, having a revision card that has on the back of it group 7 elements and then the key points for group 7 elements, so you can test yourself, so you can get people to test you. Okay? You've also already got that revision planner to help some kind of techniques, but at this stage I would be looking at my plan. Lots of you have got that plan now because I gave it out to form tutors. If you haven't, ask your form tutor to one because we've got loads in our front office. It's a week-by-week plan for the next 4 weeks, whereby it gives you 3 little blocks that you can dedicate your revision to and be specific with it. So instead of just writing science in that block when you're going to revise, write down group 7 elements, write down electrolysis, write down periodic table or whatever it is into that specific box so that you can revise it. Do not fill that up. Make sure you take time off. Make sure that you get away from revision, because otherwise it could feel all encompassing and kind of be kind of cause anxiety. I don't want that. Okay, but please use that to help, especially that week. That's our crucial week when we're away from school, when you haven't got the pressures of being in school quite a bit. Someone asked me as we were coming in, how much revision should I be doing? And that's going to vary between person to person. Okay? For this week and next week, you'd be wanting to do at least half an hour a night, I would say, but with some time off. Okay? Reason for that, attention spans of half an hour. You're going to have to do it. And then this week is when we start to perhaps build it up and have 3 30-minute blocks in a day, okay, so we can cover all the revision we need to. Lots of you might want to go overboard, try and rein it back in. Try not go over the top, okay? As I said, on this right-hand side of the revision guide that I've given for you are the exact topics that come up in the mocks. Use that when you're planning a revision. Use that for your revision, okay? As I mentioned about revision cards, I've got lots of them. Lots of people then just kind of copy out what's in their books onto there. That's not effective. What's effective is having a specific question on the back of your revision card and then having the key terms on the other side of it, or the key themes if you're in history, or the key key messages you want to get across. For my revision cards, when I was doing A-level history, for the causes of the Second World War or the Prussian Revolution, whatever it was, I had mnemonics, whereby I would have what were the causes of the Second World War, and I'd have a little mnemonic which would be a word that would be kind of like, I don't know, kind of something like cake eat or something like that, and each of the first letters would be a reason for the cause of the First or Second World War, and I did it like that, and that really helped me. That was a way of revising in history I found were really useful. So I've got those revision cards. That's called Retrieval Practice. We've seen this before, so I'm not going to go too much over it. Okay? Instead, I'm going to talk you through, because I've only got 5 minutes left on the actual logistics of that week in 8 days, when we come back in March, okay? When we come back after the February half-term holiday, we'll have a week back in school. That's just to get you back in, get you back into a normal routine, put our arms around you, make sure you're okay, and do revision with you in lessons, and make sure you're nice and calm and support you. That's the first week. The second week, we start on the Monday with English literature, okay? We start off with the ones that are quite long and big, so that we've got enough time to mark them and get them back to you as quickly as possible. Tomorrow and on Friday, you'll get your own personalised version of this timetable. So don't worry about trying to remember it or trying to find the email I've sent you with it on. You'll get a paper copy, okay? We're trying to do everything for you to help make everything as smooth and as easy and as stress-free as possible. That's our jobs, not your jobs to worry. It's my job to worry about you. If you're sat there, just try and focus on what you can control, which is your revision. In terms of how it's going to work, you'll notice on the Wednesday morning there aren't very many exams. It's just psychology and events operations. What we are doing for these mocks is they are smaller. Okay? They are only exams in there that are non-coursework based. Okay? On the whole, there's 1 or 2, like Child Development PE requested a mock exam, but on the whole they are non-coursework exams. For example, English literature, geography, maths, further maths, etc. The reason for that is we can't just suddenly stop your coursework in music or art or food because you've got deadlines coming up. So as a result, lots of you might have music or dance or drama or whatever on that Wednesday morning. You still go to that lesson and you would be doing drama work in that lesson. You would continue with your coursework. The way that the timetable has been organised, it's to avoid your lessons where you have heavy coursework subjects, okay? So for example, on Monday morning we've got PE and science. That's why English literature has been timetabled there. We're trying to avoid those subjects. So what that means is that in this mock exam period, you'll be allowed to revise for your upcoming exams that afternoon in lessons where you have an exam on your mock timetable. What do you mean, sir? Well, I'll give you an example. Tuesday, period 3, I teach my year 11s French. We've got an exam in that mock exam period, so my year 11s will be able to revise for whatever subject they want in my lesson, because I'm wanting a mock exam in French. So my year 11s and students who have French and subjects that are examined in this mock exam timetable will be able to revise for any other subjects they have in the afternoon. I know my French students won't have those because they're in Block C, so they'll be able to revise for geography or what else comes up in that week. If you happen to have food in that lesson, you need to be still working on your recipe trials. Because in food, at the end of March, on the week beginning the 28th of March, that's when our practical exam is, and that's really important for increasing our coursework and our overall grades. Okay? Now, afternoon exams. There are, unfortunately, some afternoon exams that are 1 hour 45 minutes long. On your timetable, the start time will be listed as 1:20. Don't worry about that. All you need to do for those afternoon exams is get yourselves here by 1:20. Okay, so when the warning bell goes or the whistle goes, you just get yourselves straight here. We are not going to go to period 4 lessons to register this time round, and that's because of the fact that we've got longer exams in the afternoon, and that's going to happen in the summer too. In the summer there are quite a few exams like triple science that are in the afternoon that are 1 hour 45 minutes long. So if you get extra time in triple science, that's a good 2 hours long, and I know that lots of you get buses home, so we have to try and start those exams ever so slightly earlier. So get yourselves in here for 1:20 so we can get those afternoon exams started as quickly as we possibly can for things like further maths, especially for those people who have extra time. Now, in the second week, we've obviously got the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, for those of you who are in the room who were involved in the Minster service to celebrate our 210th anniversary, I know there's about 10, 15 of you, and I know that you're really worried about your exams being on that day. We're going to try and work something out for you, okay? We're going to try, where we can for those 10 students, to move 1 or 2 of those exams to catch-up sessions, okay? The thing though for that is that if you miss an exam, we've got lots of catch-up sessions that will be the week after as well, but you won't be sitting the same paper as everyone else, okay? We're not allowed to do that. In case something untoward happens and we have to go to tags, what happens is that if you kind of sitting in an exam that's the same as people have done beforehand, they might tell you what comes up and you get an unfair advantage. So we have to give you a second paper that no one sat. So what that means is, if you've got maths Monday morning and you're involved in the Minster service and you're kind of doing the preparations for that, and we have to do a catch-up session for you, all that means is that you will be sitting maths paper 2, a calculator paper, it just won't be the same as everyone else, okay? But the topics will be the same, we won't be the exact same questions. The aim is then to finish by the Wednesday so that we can condense this down a little bit so that we can give your time back to your coursework subjects, okay? Everything that's on the board here has been sent to you via email. You'll get your paper copy of that, okay? Now, last little bit. We've done this kind of timeline really well, and I've stressed it quite a lot. There have been a couple of changes from the exam boards. The exam boards, now that isolation has been reduced from 10 days to 5 days for students with COVID, they've changed the organisation of some of the timetables for the summer. So essentially, for the summer, our exam period will be from Monday the 16th of May to Thursday the 23rd of June. That's the day of the last physics exam. There is one more exam after that, but that's only for, and I'm really sorry for you too, the 2 students who do Polish. And I'm so sorry, your Polish writing exam is on the Monday after that, so you'll just have to come in when everyone else is on the beach, sipping a Coke or whatever. Okay, right. We've seen this next little section before, so I'm not going to repeat everything too much because of the fact that you're really au fait with it. The deal is this: you still come to the Hive for your morning exams after registering. I will put on the kind of sides all the letters that relate to the seat rows in the sports hall. All exams are in the sports hall. All exams this time are in the sports hall. That is, unless you have access arrangements, you just go straight down to P2. Okay? Remember, you've seen this lots of times, so I'm not going to go back over it because it's just purely about logistics. It's the same thing for the afternoon exams. Okay? In terms of how we come in. We did really, really well in the 2 weeks of the November mocks. Okay? The only slight difference for the afternoon exams, and I apologise that I'm just literally rushing through this because we've kind of lost time, is that for afternoon exams, get yourselves in here by 1:20. Okay? Or if you're in P2, get yourself there by 1:15 so that the exam can start. Okay? Now, as we always finish a assembly, I need to finish with a prayer, please. So if you could just bow your heads, and I will then get you off to period 1. Lord God, we ask you to be with our students as they embark upon their revision for this crucial time in their lives. We also ask you to guide them and be with them at every stage as you are with us always. In your name, Amen. Thank you very much. I normally read out my prayer, unfortunately it disappeared, so that came from my heart. Don't record that.